Seems to be working. Hello? Yeah, okay. It says it's working on my phone. I see a few people have dropped in. Just doesn't really show up here on my computer. Okay, now I showed up. Yo guys, there are not so many here yet. I'm not, yeah, I don't really have, it's funny, last time I had so much prepared and I didn't get to any of it. I have nothing prepared, not so many here now. I'll just wait for a bit. And well, I see the likes coming in. What's up, guys? Talk to me in the chat. Tell me about your week or weekend. Anything you've been thinking about. I'm just quite tired after this fast that I did. 5-day fast. If you didn't know, I started a fast last Sunday. Well, right before the last stream. And then I fasted through Friday. Broke the fast in the morning. And well, I put out a video about that yesterday. Had my first workout after the fast, full body workout. They just hit different. I filmed it all, so I'm gonna do a video on that workout for you guys as well. But man, it just hits different, the first workout after a fast. Like, first of all, I had like all my strength, but it's just that it feels like I'm gonna fail the set way sooner on everything. But then when I push through, I have pretty much as much to give. Yeah, well, according to the numbers, I had like exactly what I had to give before the fast. It just feels much tougher. Kind of same today. I'm not super sore or anything, but in some way, the feeling in the body is just different, you know. No, but it's always kind of like this. I'm gonna get to your question there, but it's always. Like this, after a longer fast, especially when you do it and you're a bit leaner, you know, a fasted state is a sort of sympathetic nervous system state. It's like a stress state, but it's just that stress isn't necessarily a negative thing. It depends on the context. But of course, you're in a sort of hunter state. So when you get to eat and you can go into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, it's like, you know, the body needs to catch up after this prolonged sympathetic state. So this is something I've observed from these longer fasts before, that usually I'll have a couple of days where I don't feel bad or anything, just kind of like a bit slow, and probably be back on track tomorrow. So wow, 10 people now. Yo guys, welcome to today's stream. Like the stream and please talk to me in the chat. So we get a little discussion going between, well, not the two of us, but between the you and me. Anas Jelul. I'm doing my best with all the names, by the way. What's up? Is doing OMAD before bed unhealthy? So OMAD, if you don't know, that's 1 meal a day. And you're asking if it's unhealthy to eat before bed. It's not unhealthy. It's just that it might not be, you know, the most convenient for you. If you're eating just once per day, even if you're eating in a calorie deficit, you're going to be eating quite a bit of food at once, right? So if it's bad for health, it's indirectly, you know. It's because it might be harder to fall asleep when you're digesting a big meal. Body temperature will be rising instead of going lower. You know, the body, you want the body to get slightly colder when you're about to sleep. So it's more that it might interfere with your sleep, and sleep is important, but there's nothing unhealthy with the eating in the evening, you know. Why? Yo, hey, why? I think you joined last week's stream a little later on, right? If I recall correctly, you're the guy that asked me to curse less, maybe. A. San, how often do you do neck training and why and why you put the neck harness that way. Well, I've done it twice per week now for like 9 months. We have May. Well, I guess I started in like August with the neck training. So yeah, for like 9 months, I've done it twice per week with, the exception here and there. Why I put it that way, it's just the way, why wouldn't I? You mean I put it so it looks like a little, you get some BDSM vibes from that whole neck harness, the look of it. I just put it the way I think it's most comfortable to do the exercise. In like, if I put it the other way, well, how do you think I'm supposed to have it? Because there will still be something in the way of my eyes, and the chains will be further back. So I just put it on the way. I feel like it works the best for the exercise. It's nothing big about that. See more people. Please like the stream and talk to me in the chat. Why he said, I wasn't the one who told you to curse less, but it's a good idea. Well, yeah. What I told that guy is, I feel like for me to not curse at all ever, it's not authentic, because I don't necessarily think there's something wrong inherently with using curse words sometimes, but sometimes it's just, some people way overuse the F word, and sometimes you catch yourself too when you're improvising and you're like a little fired up, and the word that just immediately fills the blank slate is like the F word. So it's something to be mindful about. I'll probably never stop cursing altogether. But it's good, you want people to be pointing out little things you can improve upon. Like, especially when it's not the kind of person that is just flaw finding. When it comes from a person, you can tell that this is someone enjoying the content. Here's a suggestion they have on something you can improve. Perfect. DACR, I don't know how to pronounce that. Good day. Glad YouTube brought me to you. After your fast, you made a delicious meal. What was your body telling you to eat first? That's an interesting way to phrase it. Well, my body is kind of always telling me to eat pickled food when I fast. It's like what I crave the most always. And so that's why it's become sort of a standard, since pickled herring is a thing here. At first it became just a standard that I broke the fast with. The first thing I would have is just a pickle. And then I started craving this herring too, and it's perfect in a sense. It is pickled, it's a lean protein source, especially when I don't want to, I want to eat, but not too much fat, especially on the day of breaking the fast. It's a good food choice. So it's pretty much always the pickled food my body's telling me to eat, and then I just eat what I usually eat. I had some steak there later. Yeah. Anas Jelul. Is it better to micro bulk and micro cut? Bulking 4 to 6 weeks and 1 week cutting? No. Is it better than what? Doing it for a longer amount of time? Is it better than what for what? This is the type of question that is kind of like, it's like, what should I compare it to? Is red better than blue? It's like they're both colors, better for what? but generally, as I guess, you're asking if this is somehow better than bulking for a longer time and cutting for a shorter, better for what, first of all? But no, I would say, if I just had to say some general answer to that, bulking, it's something you want to do for a longer amount of time. If you, it's important to you to stay leaner or something, you can just bulk on a smaller calorie surplus, just monitor your body weight and your lifts. And if as long as the lifts are going up, you're bulking, you're in a state of gaining, making progress. But yeah, really, ask the question again. But I think bulking is something you should do for at least 3 months at a time for best results. Just put the body in a long-term state of growth and not try to do this little, I grow a little and then I take a little bit off and I grow a little, Usually like even when you want to bulk but stay leaner, or try to cut fat and build muscle at the same time, usually embracing that one of the two is the main goal is the effective thing, and that's how you get to do both. Like you know, if you want to recomp, someone that really wants to build muscle but also really wants to stay lean, they have these forces, they want things in different directions so much that they end up you're standing still. While if you embrace that, okay, I'd like to be leaner, but I'm focusing on putting on muscle, I'll just not eat so much, and then you just crush your workouts and that, and then what do you know? You manage to burn a little bit of fat as you put on muscle. So you see, it's often by embracing the one thing the best results are reached. And we get back to that. Alcobe. I used to think I was going hard in the gym, but never went to failure and got mediocre results. Now I go to failure and it's totally different realm of results. Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people, and I'm big on training to failure, because it's also a problem when people want to give nuanced information, but that some people are not ready for the nuance. You need a black and white message that no, you just need to train to failure, you know. Because if a lot of people get to hear that, you don't really have to, you can save this and this many reps in reserve and blah, blah, blah. You know, this is a person that's already not training hard enough. And now they hear that they don't have to. And a person that thinks they stopped when they could do 1 or 2 more reps. In reality, they could often do like 5 or 6, even 7 more reps. You know, I train people, I'm a personal trainer. I put people in a leg press machine. The weight I give them, it's like, no, I can't even move it. It's impossible. I do some Jedi mind tricks with them. Suddenly they could not even, not just move it, they could do 20 reps, you know. So yeah, training to failure, I attribute a lot of my good results to the fact that I trained to failure and beyond on many things from when I started, you know. Very few exceptions when I don't train to failure or 0 reps in reserve. And how do I know it's 0 reps in reserve? Because I train so much to failure, right? So good on you. I'm glad you're seeing the gains from training to failure. Why? I always crave salt and vinegar when breaking a fast. Yeah, for sure. Well, the salt I will take during the fast, but it of course doesn't, when you're not taking carbohydrates too, it just won't stick to you in the same way. DA equals Dayton. So the guy said DACR. Well, Dayton. I struggle with full fasts for longer than 48 hours. I wonder if it's the electrolytes in the pickle juice you're craving. I like how you say two different things in one sentence, you know. I mean, it are the electrolytes I'm craving, but I'm taking them separately too. I'm thinking if it's something, just an intuitive thing, like, you know, give the gut microbiome a little boost. If that's because, you know, the herring, it's not necessarily salt always. Okay, you struggle with full fast for longer than 48 hours. Well, you know, have you pushed through beyond to that 3rd day sometime? Because it was classic, you know, it's incredible how you can adapt to something so much, like over time. Because I thought at a point, like, okay, I've kind of mastered fasting now, but it always has to suck a bit at this and this stage. And like now, this fast this week for 5 days, when I'm quite lean going into it, it's not even a struggle. But when I used to do these 3-day fasts, I often felt the worst there on the 2nd day. And then when it was time to break it was when I didn't even feel like breaking it anymore. Now it was smooth sailing. So I'm just saying that try to push through longer than 48 hours sometime, and you'll notice that it gets a lot easier. And probably just doing that, just doing it over and over, that's how you do that and get good at something, even good at fasting. Gillian H. Did you ever get an injury from training to failure? Well, indirectly, it's never been that I take a set to failure and just like immediately there, I injured myself. But I have definitely overreached over time by just training at a very hard intensity and never taking time to rest. So the opposite problem of most people, It's a dilemma for me because I teach a lot by sharing my experience, but in this case of training, I am one of the individuals that has to think about training less hard, taking a step back, actually skipping the gym every once in a while. Most people, that's just not what they need to hear. But yeah, not from training to failure, that because I took this set to failure, I injured myself. But I have trained to failure, workout after workout, and not really listening to some kind of obvious signs that an injury is starting to creep up, like this elbow that's almost good now. But I was wearing it down from all this intense training, and I could, if I had just listened to my body sooner, I could. There's actually, if we're talking about one time I actually injured myself when sort of training to failure, was I was deadlifting 3 years ago, and I had done one set of 6 at 180 kilos. And so when I done the 5th rep on set 2, I'm like, should I just skip the 6th? But that devilish voice that I have in my head is like, well, you can't do one more, made me do one more. And I just heard this sound like from my lower back. And turns out I almost had a hernia. I didn't really, but one of the discs starting to like pop out a bit. And so my lower back was very sensitive. I couldn't deadlift. It took some months to recover, but now my lower back is actually stronger than ever. It's the good thing with the injuries. They kind of force you, if you want to overcome them and you want to be able to continue training, you kind of have to learn about that area and strengthen it. So many of my injuries have led to me becoming stronger, even in that specific area. And there's a lesson to be learned here. It's the same with, emotional injury, if you want to say, like trauma. Tough stuff, painful stuff you have to deal with in life is an opportunity to grow and become even stronger from that. 25 people, 10 likes. I'd like to see a bit more likes, guys. And remember, you can send a super chat. I was very happy about the support last stream. But mainly, guys, keep talking in the chat so we have something to talk about here. How is the echo in here, by the way? I've said I'm removing the echo. On the last video I shot in here, when I said the echo is being removed because a guy is coming to put up curtains. Well, he has bailed on me twice since then, and now I haven't lived here for a week. So I put on the earphones to try to mitigate the echo a bit. And a UI. I up my salt intake when fasting for longer than 48 hours. Yeah. Just a general statement, you should. I mean, to not take salts, if you're not going to do dry fast, if you're going to be drinking water, why not take the salts, even if it's not quite the same as having them with carbohydrates, it sure as hell won't destroy anything about the fast. And I feel, it's just that they don't quite stick to you in the same way, but I do feel they help. The fasting and using the salts have really made me sensitive to that fact that, being dehydrated is not just about water, it's about salts. So now if I come out the sauna, if I crave water and I just have the water from the tap, it's like there's something missing here, and it's a salt, of course. Asan, how many rest days a week? Do you take long breaks from gym? So the answer to that is no rest days. And do you take long breaks from the gym? The answer is no. Like the longest breaks I ever take from the gym are, well, I see you listen when I told you to like, so I appreciate that. The longest breaks I take from the gym are usually when I fast, because then I don't really train. I might just exercise and move a bit. I don't go to the gym. But yeah, I program no rest days. I have a concept that's called no rest days, just less days. So not less days as in fewer days, just days when you do less. And look, of course, the point of a statement or a saying like that is just that the process never stops. Like even if you train less than a full workout, that's because the process, your entire process demands it. And even a full rest day can be part of the process. Then it's just like many coaches like myself, it's like, do 90%, do 100% as I say, and 90% of what I do, and you'll be fine. Because we have our shit to work on ourselves, and mine is just that it's very hard to let go of the gas. So I don't have any program rest days, and I should take a spontaneous rest day here and there. Just not great at that, but I'm working on it. Gillian H. So as a beginner, it's okay to train to failure, I suppose, but just take enough rest before you do it again. Do you mean rest like just in general, or between the sets? Because if we're talking about between the sets, I take kind of long rest between sets. Because some people, I think, what you think is that if I rest too long between my sets, it's like, you know, the stimulus that I triggered, that it's gonna creep down if I don't go soon enough again. But that's not really the case with training. If you train a set, take a set to failure, you know, the stimulus is done. It doesn't matter if you rest for an hour. Like, that would be dumb, of course, but to make the point that when you've taken a set to failure, you've gained the stimulus immediately. You can't lose it now. It would only be if you do some kind of training where you know, when you don't train to failure is when you're going to have to think about your rest time more, as in terms of, I don't want to be resting for too long. But when you train to failure, you just know that, yeah, I can just rest until I'm ready again because I did a perfect job on the first set. But so, as a beginner, look, I don't know exactly what you mean by beginner, but if you're a complete beginner, you don't have to train to failure. It's just something to strive for. You should be looking to take a set here and there to failure. But really, the point is that you want to be observing that progress is taking place, you know. So if you come to the gym and do 10 reps with 40 kilos on a bench press, it doesn't really matter if it was to failure or not, just as long as you can do 11 reps the next time or 10 reps with 42 kilos, you know. So when you're a super beginner, you just make sure that you're making progress. You should be able to make progress, like even when you're quite advanced, you should be able to make progress almost every workout, but especially as a beginner. So, you know, this with failure, you'll find out during the process. Start taking a set here and there. Just decide every now and then that, okay, I'm literally gonna fail a rep on this exercise, you know, but just track and observe that progress with your training is taking place as a whole. That's the key. Dayton. Flutter kicks did my back in. Haha. It was the years in the military. It was some goofy flutter kicks. It's not always the big lifts that get you. Yeah, but I gotta say though, that's a crap exercise for most purposes that people will tell you to do it. Like it's some kind of lower body conditioning mostly. People put this in when, you know, it's supposed to be some kind of ab workout. They put these flutter kicks that really do quite little for your abs. So, you know, I'm not saying that it's a bad exercise for any purpose, but for most purposes that the people would do it, it is. Jack, how do you deal with constant negative thoughts? Well, there's a big one. What kinds of negative thoughts are you having? I mean, because there are different answers depending on, you know. Many times when we think too much in general, it's some kind of lack of action. So one thing to do is just do something. Literally, like hit the workout, go on a walk. But there are so many reasons for negative thoughts or different kinds. I mean, if it's, you know, because I really want to answer to something like this, it's just such a wide, as if there's one answer to negative thoughts like that. But one thing too is just when you have a lot of negative thoughts, even if you think that they might be about the world or whatever, but it comes from your feeling, you're in a negative state. And if you do things to make you feel good, both about yourself but in general, you'll have more good thoughts, positive thoughts. So, you know, please follow up on this. What kind of negative thoughts are you having? Alcove. Deadlift is one of those exercises that I'm very cognizant of when my form starts to break down due to fatigue. I don't push it past that point. You know, I find it very difficult to answer to a thing like that, because honestly, so many guys that are like, yeah, I just don't want to get injured. It just ends up being an excuse to train like a pussy, and you're not really making progress. And so, of course, because when I train people, I have never injured someone I train because I've injured myself, and I just don't want to do that to anyone else. But let me put it like this. If you are very ambitious with anything, but with strength and training and building a good physique, injuries are part of the process. You can, of course, be smart. Like the deadlift would be one of the exercises where you might not want to take a set to failure and stuff. But at some point, something is, if not break, you're gonna get a little owies, you're gonna have little problems to solve, and it's part of the process. Now, when you see my workouts, that I'm gonna post a full body workout from Breaking the Fast, you're not gonna be able to see any of my injuries, but I know exactly that like 5 different areas I'm navigating around that are a little painful, at least a little bit painful, So that's my thing. Since I can't see you and don't know what you train like, I don't know what advice to give you, but most guys, they should, if anything, be less concerned about having an injury. Firecogs, what are your thoughts on juice fasts? I mean, with high quality fresh fruits and vegetable juices. Thanks for sharing your insights. Yeah, so look, you can find, there was a drink, I called it Sun Soda, where I mixed orange juice and coconut water for this like magical adrenal cocktail, basically. And then you just take the salt on the side with that. And I did some fasts with that. And look, I don't really think there's anything like a juice cleanse or something is kind of bullshit, I feel like. I mean, that it could be the case, I guess, that some vegetables can like bind to something in the gut. So it comes out like better than it would on just a water fast. So there might be something to that. But my main thing was, it was a way to fast when I was a bit leaner. And one thing I really liked about drinking this juice, like maybe 500 calories from juice during the fast, was that when I broke the fast, I could just train and be ready to go immediately. It wasn't this completely depleted state. Like completely depleted, you can always train, but you see what I'm saying? It felt like any other workout, even though I had just been drinking this juice for a few days. And I'll also say that it was, when you've done and think saltwater fasting is quite easy, like fasting with the juice was just a breeze. But I'm not a huge fan or anything. Like, I'm also not dogmatic or black and white. So, to have a true opinion on something like a juice fast, I need to know, like, okay, for what person, in what context? Eduardo Romero, Waves. Well, hey Eduardo. Like the stream if you haven't already, guys. Mativos Kidane, whatever. Do you use snake juice when you do your fasting? I do. I don't know, we're talking about the salts, right? Saltwater fast. Potassium and sodium chloride. 1 teaspoon of each per liter of water. Something like that. At this point, I just pour the salt on my tongue when I take a glass of water. Alcohol. Greg Doucette suggests a 3-to-1 rest to work ratio when it comes to resting between sets. Every minute of work requires 3 minutes of rest between. Well, it's a decent rule, but Greg Doucette, he has the kind of, no, I wouldn't say training style as me, because he's so much of a bodybuilder, which I am too, of course, but I have some other goals that he doesn't have. But one thing we share is the intensity in the sets. And I think when you train that hard, yes, 3-to-1 is... I don't know why people need these ratios, it's just like, just rest as long as you need. But yeah, I think 3-to-1 is probably good. Eduardo Romero. I try not to make things complicated. I just work out on a daily basis. If I'm too busy, then I can't, but I always try my best to squeeze a workout. Yes. Yeah, so what I like, if someone has it like that, actually too busy, because that's also a topic for a video. No, it's not that you don't have time, you don't make time for it. It's not a priority to you. Like, stop lying about not having the time. You're not making the time. it's not a priority, and you say you don't have time to make yourself feel better about not prioritizing it. But if you actually have like unpredictable work and stuff like that, what I would recommend is, because I like, for instance, to schedule like Monday is upper body day, Tuesday is lower body day, but when you have things a bit more unpredictable like that, I like that you have a program that you can kind of cycle through. So whatever workout is next in the cycle is the one you're doing. Works well if you have to train on different days, different weeks. Paul says, to the negative thought comment, a great book for that is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I read that book actually, or I listened to it on audiobook. When the thing though, what I feel about those books is that I kind of knew everything he was talking about in the book while I was listening to it, and I was listening to it because I was not so much living in the now, right? And I was living in my head in a bunch of negative thoughts. But the books, it's just kind of like, yeah, everything you're talking about in the book, I would just love to be able to do that right now. And I can't. So I don't know what I think about those books. I guess it's a little bit, it makes you start looking for the right thing, but you'll never just find the answer in the book. You kind of find a map in the book. You find what to look for, but you gotta go find it. Eduardo Romero. Ormus has helped me out a lot with the negative thoughts. So did lion's mane, but I try not to do both at the same time. Yeah, Ormus, that just makes me think of in Diablo 2. I think the sorcerer guy who bought like mana potions and stuff from in Act 3. I think he was called Ormus. But lion's mane, I know. It's actually one of the like nootropics. I haven't done it a lot, but that's one that I really feel working when I take it. Dayton says, I miss lion's mane, used to eat it all the time, then developed an allergy to it. Sad times. Yeah, that's sad. Nick 225. Do you think a fast would actually feel easier than going very low calories for 4 to 5 days? If it would feel easier, very low calories, like super low. How low? To me, I think it's a little mental. If I know beforehand that, okay, this 5 days, I'm just going to eat 500 calories per day, it would probably not be that difficult. But for me, it's a mindset. Like, for instance, if I eat 3 times per day, usually, and if I eat my first meal, I'm going to have my second, but then something happens and I meet a friend, and it's like delayed. That's when I will actually experience hunger and crave something, because it's like my body's like expecting it. Yeah, we ate before, so we're going to eat again, right? While if I fast, it's like my body's like, okay, nothing's coming. No point in getting hungry, So I think it would depend on the person. But to me, I feel like it's actually, if I have to give like a yes or no answer, I feel like it's easier to eat nothing than just a little bit. You know that saying? It takes more discipline to have one piece of candy than none. How use a impact whey gainer? 100 grams, 300, and you give me the macros with the proteins and carbs. How to use it? Well, eat it with your mouth. That's how you use a gainer. Or better yet, just throw it in the trash and eat some real food, because it's just a fucking powder with protein and carbs. Now, don't get me wrong, I like whey. I use whey in my protein yogurt. But really, you don't need how to use it. It's just if you're a really skinny guy and it's just a convenient way to gain more weight, it's just like just make shakes with it and have them on top of your regular diet. You're using it. All it is calories, macros in a powder form, like easily accessible calories. So you smash your workouts, you eat good food, and if you have to use the gainer, like on top of that, to get into surplus, and then you observe the scale and your numbers in the gym, and are the numbers going up? Great, you're now using it in a good way. San, Do you fast for fat loss only, or do you think fasting also indirectly helps muscle gain due to potential testosterone and HGH increase? So I fast for many different reasons. Like, I started fasting purely out of curiosity with no specific goal. I just because I was newer to all the fitness stuff, health stuff, I had been curious about it. Then I just happened to hear someone talk about it. And when I asked him more about it, he said that he thought there were, like, why he did it. He said he thought there were benefits to it, but also that growing up they were so poor that it was just a strategy for them sometimes. And that just made me think, because I did not have the greatest childhood, but it was never money, was never an issue, food on the table. So I just tried 5 days, literally just to try it. And then, of course, it's become a tool to lose weight. But look, I don't really have any, like, yeah, I fast for weight loss, or no, I actually fast to gain more muscle. No, I just fast because I like what it does for me. But if we just talk about if I think it helps muscle gain, like, yeah, there are studies that when you fast, of course, during the fast, the testosterone will go down because you're not getting any nutrients to produce hormones. I mean, certain hormones. But then when you refeed, it goes up above baseline, and then it looks like it goes down again. But I, of course, think that long term, you know how some things are. Fasting is obviously not right now. If I start fasting, it's not good for building muscle, of course. But in the context of I'm someone that for a long time trains to build muscle, and fasting is part of the mix here, I think it can be beneficial. I don't know about the HGH increase, if I think that does anything. But one thing, just, I wish I could block notifications while I'm doing this. You know, the body can get more and less sensitive to many different things. So I'm just thinking, if pulling out training and protein completely for a time, that might make you more sensitive both to the protein and the stimulus from the training. You know, when I did a 1 week fast, a lot of people commented afterwards that I seemed to kind of blow up, have a little, like, just bump in gains immediately after. And so there might be something to that, but it's like, I would fast even if I thought it wasn't the best. You know, I've gained enough muscle. It has not gotten in the way of gaining muscle. So I don't necessarily fast for it. You know, I just like doing it. It's mainly, to be honest, for me, fasting, it's like, stop messaging me right now, bro. It's like the mental health effect, and just all the things you learn from fasting, you know, just patience, just wait, just stick with something till the end, because you said you would. And of course, just the relationship it has given me to food, that I have such high control over what I eat. That's a big gift from the fasting. Yeah, guys, like, if you haven't already, consider supporting me in the stream with a super chat. Stop spamming me, bro. Come on. I'm telling an actual bro, not anyone in the chat here. You're my bros too, of course. Let's see here. Andre Moriario. I think we texted. Oh yeah, we talked about coaching, right? Stop texting me, bro. Come on. What's your take on creatine? If you take it, do you take it during your fasting? My take is, I'm so tired that this is something people, I like, no offense to you, bro, but it's a supplement. It does this much for your performance. Yeah, I take it sometimes when I fast, sometimes don't. I don't think it matters. This is like that you would have to load it up. There's a loading phase. It seems to be bullshit. So, you know, it's a supplement that does this much to the 99.9% of the process, that is training, eating right, sleeping, sunlight, these things. It adds 0.1%. Great, you know. Like, this is the thing. I don't want to come off as like dismissive, but when you've gone on this path and you research everything, you've been hungry, or like, oh, this little supplement, maybe this will help. And then the further you go on the trip, you just learn that, well, all these things almost don't matter at all. It's the basics always. Get better on the basics. So it's like almost any question about the supplement or something, you're like, just away with it, please. Please, let's talk about the things that matter instead. Dayton, touching back on your map comment with the books, etc. I would add that shadow work and introspection is the compass for a map. Yeah, that's a great point. We're gonna be doing more videos on the kind of shadow work stuff, because really, especially, I mean, shadow work, among other things, is what I've been doing for the last like 6 years, but especially last year, it was very intentionally, you know, because sometimes when you work on yourself and you go through changes in life and stuff, you don't actually realize exactly what it is you're doing. Last year, I really went deep into myself, like looking at me and my patterns and that. So we're gonna have more videos on those topics for sure. Paul sends the first super chat of the stream, $10 US. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, I appreciate that a lot, Paul. Means a lot to me. Oh, but yeah, really, shadow work. If you don't know what shadow work is, it's, you know, it's looking at the parts of you that you are not conscious of. And spoiler alert, there's very little about you you're actually directly conscious about. And a lot of things you think you're conscious about, they are just lies that your ego made up. Paul. Okay, Paul, you sent me email about coaching too. I'm sorry if I missed that. I'll go look at it after the stream. Mika, try 2 tablespoons of castor oil at the beginning of the fast. Trust me. And why? You just tell me why. I'm not skeptical, but I'm curious. Like, just why should one do that? And Paul is telling everyone to work on your thumbs up and press that like button. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate when someone else tells other people to show the support too. Yeah, please. Because, you know, guys, I know it's easy to just watch content and that, and you forget, even if you're appreciative of the person, I forget too sometimes, you know. So that's why we need to spam these reminders, but it does make a difference. It does help. And it just feels nice, to be honest. Like, not just in the dopamine seeing high numbers, when people actually like what you do. Nicola Ferry, I mean, how gram used per kilo body weight? Well, there's no rule like that with your gainer, bro. It doesn't matter. It's your total amount of calories. And probably, like, I'm just telling you, because I don't know anything about you, you probably just need to eat a lot and smash the gym. And if you use your gainer for that too, okay, you know. But there's no formula. Use whatever you want. Use what you think is reasonable. Look, count your calories. Look at your intake right now. What does it look like? Let's see. Saw video recently where you eat after fasting. I saw you ate fish and potatoes with kefir. But isn't kefir a drink? I thought smetana is more used like topping for food. Yeah, well, it was just because I forgot to... smetana is not what I would take usually, but I forgot to take something like that, and I wanted something like that. Kefir was what I had at hand, so yeah, it's a little bit more liquid. But so the answer is that it just happened to be what I had available. Tresnor says, "What's up, homie?" Yeah. What's up, homie? You're the guy from last week. And Emily has said, nice of you, Paul, about the super chat. Yeah, appreciate it a lot, bro. Eduardo Romero, how long have you been practicing SR? And Alcov says SR is a game changer. So you're talking about semen retention. And this is again a question that people ask me if it is, as if it was something I'm doing when it's not. Or I mean, retention, I guess it doesn't directly say that it's no fap, that you don't do it at all. Of course, I'm a proponent of low fap, not no fap, more than as an intervention. I don't really like neither from experience or as a concept, it's hard for me to buy into that it's so great to not do it at all, like for so long. Like, why? Why would it be? Like, I don't get a question I laugh at, maybe I shouldn't. But, you know, I think you shouldn't be a slave to your urges, like sex, neither masturbation or just women. And if you just yeah, I mean, I guess if I just answer how long I've had the low fat mindset, I guess it is for like 5 years or something. Yeah, but I complete no fat. I just done. I did it in Greece for like 2 months, and I've done it for like 2 months before that. But other than that, I've just been like, just get off the porn, don't masturbate too often, and blah blah that. Andre Moriaro, 15 euros. Really appreciate the no bullshit information. We'll sign up for coaching soon. Well, I appreciate that. I didn't get to. I saw you sent me an Instagram DM again. I think you said that we'll do it post summer. It's up to you, of course. But the best time to start is always now, just so you know. But thanks for the super chat, bro. Really appreciate it. Alcove, longest stretch is 2 months. Women also start staring at you when you're 2 weeks in. Well, I think that's in your head, you know. I think you just feel better. But wait, let me. I'm sorry, guys. If you just knew how collected I am because I'm so annoyed at some people right now, that's something I've learned a lot. Patience, control, have patience with a little lesser people. No, but I think that you think that women start staring at you after you haven't jerked off in 2 weeks is probably that you feel good about yourself, and that's the energy you're sending out. Something magic, like, wow, I can smell his balls from here, you know. IP1, how do you fight off the gay interest? So you mean that you have a gay interest and you want to fight it off? Fight off the gay interest. I mean, if that's something you want to do, and I'm just speculating now, I think you have to get to the bottom of where is this coming from, or you know, like, yeah, but I'm not sure about this one. We'll stop it at that. Fight it off, you know. Like anything you want to fight off that you have struggled with, be patient, introspect, go in that direction if that's something you want to do. Philosophysique. I think I saw your name in a comment. It's funny because I've used that expression. I don't know if you gotten it from somewhere else, and I didn't get it from it. I just wanted to put philosophy and physique into one word. Roughly 2 grams protein per kilo, if you're asking how much protein, Nicola. Yeah, but he knows that. He just asking me how much he should use of his weight gainer. Lol, Tessler lolled at the gay question, I think. Yeah, and he says about semen retention, it just makes you more horny, everything else is in your head, lol. Well, you know, I think with many things, the way I see it, I think we talked a little bit of about this on the last stream, but I like to see it as, you know, like the intermittent fasting. Follow the intermittent fasting program when you start, like be super strict about it, and then that will give you something good, and now you can not be quite as strict with it, and you're kind of back to the way you're supposed to be in a sense. I think the same way I see it with semen retention, that okay, if you have a big problem with porn and that, yeah, if you can go cold turkey for a long time, that's going to be good for you. But then I think some guys, when something just worked well for them, you get a little married to the concept. And it's like how a lot of people are with fasting, you know. Like, oh, fasting, it just cures all. It's this, no, fasting is great. There's a lot of great things for everything there. But, you know, it's just a thing. It's just a tool. Eduardo Monteformaggio. Thoughts on rejection therapy. Rejection therapy, I don't know what that is. Rejection therapy. Like, is it a certain kind of... come on. Something is messed up with my browser. Rejection therapy. Just curious. Come on. A social self-help game where being rejected by another person or group is the sole winning condition. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Well, follow you, tell me what it is. Alcohol. For sex porn addicts, it can reset the dopamine and shame system loop, almost like a fast. Yeah, exactly, it is a kind of fast. You know, fasting from food is like the mother of all fasting, but fasting from something is just refraining from using that thing. So you can, no fat is a sort of fast. It is indeed a game changer. Spermation cycle is a fact. And what cycle is that? I was addicted to porn and now it's not an issue. Great. I'm happy for you. The uncanny benefits from semen retention. Will never touch myself again. Well, what are the benefits that are so great about this that completely aren't made up in your head? Tell me about it. You have to, Mika says, you have to use your testes and the muscles involved in releasing semen. It's a physical process and it will die and atrophy if not used. Thus, SR is very, very absurd. This is what I feel like too. Of course, if I have to pick, I prefer the semen retention guy before the porn addict, but who I think is in a better spot. But why are people like this? Oh, I was vegan and it didn't work out for me, so now I just eat meat. I'm carnivore now. Yeah, clearly eating steak only is the right answer. Is there not something in the middle here, Oh, and the middle, by the way, I'm not saying that it always like 50-50. Like, you should have half your food in this example from vegetables and half from meats. I don't mean that. But there is something that isn't on the extreme end, that you can find the right spot for something. Why do you think that semen retention, it's not logical on any level for me that it would be good long term? Like, you tell me, guys. Paul says, according to Dr. Rina Malik, men who use their manhood 20 days out of a month decrease the risk of prostate cancer by up to 30%. Girls like it too. If you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah. Okay, D. Let's see. Yeah. Ormus, glad I got to ask some questions. Really appreciate you and mindset. Mother's Day here. We'll show some love. Well, yeah. Tell your mama that you love her. And thanks for stopping by. D. I was not the one bringing it up, by the way. I just agree with the guy who did. About the semen retention. Yeah. Eduardo Romero says, fight off the gay interest with Jesus Christ. Those kinds of answers. Well, what are people supposed to do with that, though? Because Jesus, he isn't just standing out there and you can go ask him, what do you mean? Just pick up the Bible and read it? Philosophysique. It's unhealthy not to whack it occasionally. Your body literally needs to release. It helps against prostate cancer. Yeah, it's kind of what I feel like too, that you shouldn't be obsessed about it, overly do it, but not doing it at all just doesn't make sense, more than as a temporary thing. Alcohol. I think the staring women is definitely from the vibration you wind up on from not overindulging in degenerate behavior. Yeah, but the vibration you wind up on, like, sure, but that's kind of what I said, the way you feel, your vibration is very much has to do with your emotional state. So probably when I haven't been watching porn, I've been disciplined, I've been following through with this thing. I've said, yes, you're vibing high, and yes, people pick up on your vibration. Nicola Ferry, I know it's the same with women on semen retention. Woman feel that energy and look at you in different way. Yeah, or maybe you feel a different way and you send out a different energy and the woman feel that. Alco, I think he's talking about fighting unwanted advances from gay men harassing you. Really? Well, just tell them to go away. Philosophysique. I think we both think quite alike, mate. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, your name is Philosophysique, so I'm sure we do. But yeah, guys, you know, I'm very happy. I mean, I've always drawn like-minded people to this channel, but lately, and you see so many of you guys that are exactly the kinds of guys that are like, yes, you're the guys I want around here. That are like, not sucked into all the mainstream bullshit, but also don't really buy into the exact polar opposite that we get presented to. Just smart, insightful guys that have made observation about the world themselves and not just received a worldview from either here or there. Yeah, because even if you stop masturbation, you would release in your sleep. Yeah, either way, you're not retaining it in your heads, bros. Yeah. Jack, you talked about the negative thoughts and you never really followed up, but did you quit nicotine? Quite hard for me to let that go. No, I didn't. Have the snooze here. And I'm not that concerned about it either. I'm gonna change the one I'm using here to another one. You know, guys, about the snooze, like even not that in particular, but you know, I don't think the goal is to just do things that are healthy according to the textbook. I think that when we're talking about balance, I think being 100% healthy can't be 100% healthy because there's something weird about that behavior, you know. You need your little imperfections, your little kind of, you know, something, I mean, something, to me, it's like when you get like 90% plus right, it's kind of right to have a few percents that are not right. I'm just trying to say this with words. That being said, this is something I don't think I need to quit, but I could definitely do it less, and it's something I'm working on. Tabletop Minis. Great channel. I've done 2 72-hour fasts in the last month and lost a couple of kilos doing it and felt good being able to do it mentally. I couldn't stop my 5 to 6 cup of coffee with milk though. During the fast, you mean? Yeah, well, I just wouldn't have the milk, which I never have with coffee, but when fasting. Now, but the thing with fasting, again, what rules you have on your fasts, it depends on your purpose with it. Like, for a very kind of spiritual fast, you might not want to take anything in at all. Like self-development or practicing integrity. You know, I'm gonna say, I can do this, I can be away from all these things for a certain amount of time and follow through with it. But if you're doing it for weight loss, for instance, if having something that contains like this amount of calories helps you go through with a fast, what's the problem? You know, if it helped you go through the fast, so you ate 5% of your maintenance calories or something for a few days, it doesn't really matter. So, you know, because it sounds like you're saying I couldn't stop my 5 to 6 cups of milk, coffee with milk though. Well, did that matter for your goals? Is it really something you couldn't stop or you didn't even have to stop? Jarek Z. Hi. If you improve YouTube quality content, your content will be skyrocketing. If you improve, you mean my quality of the content. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, though, there are things I want to improve, like just video and audio quality. But part of what I want with channel and always I wanted is that it's supposed to be kind of raw. It's supposed to feel like, you know, well, it's just a guy doing his thing, and he has a YouTube channel, and it's not overly produced. Even if I have a company and I have a coaching business and all of that, I want it to be this here. I want to be kind of, well, it's just a guy sharing his stuff on YouTube. That's it. But yeah, of course, there are some things I can do to improve the quality that would help the growth. But my 4-year-old video, it get so annoyed with someone texting me right now. But my 4-year-old video with even lower production value, it got picked up, and it got 150,000 views. I need to go check. My God, you know. Sorry, guys. I need to tell someone about a key. Sorry about the dead air. I'm just telling this person they're ruining everything. Let's see. Where were we? Nicola Ferri. I mean, watch other people fuck and enjoy is very creepy and delusional. It is. I would just want to punch this person texting me. Sorry, where were we? You know, watching porn is creepy, but so that doesn't equal, and therefore never jerking off is the right thing to do. That it's a big leap, you know. Philosophy. He already has quality content. Maybe could do with increasing production quality, but kind of irrelevant. His channel is growing nicely despite high production quality. Just solid info. Well, I appreciate that, bro. That's like, it's what I'm going for here. That the quality is in the message here. And of course, improving audio quality, I think mainly is an important thing, because you want to be able to just listen to clear sound. But yeah, you know, because that's also been a goal for me. I don't want the biggest channel I could possibly get, because that would be easy. I could just sell out on stuff I care about. I want it to be as big as possible as it can be when I'm doing things authentically in the way I want to. You know, not attract people, but a certain kind of people, if you see what I mean. You know, I would rather go for this being like 100,000 subscriber channel than a million. Then maybe 1 million would be possible, you see. I wouldn't want to be one of the largest. I want this to be the largest it can be. Okay, so benefits are in short. Energy and testosterone buildup that I experience, both are in natural medicine. I don't get sick anymore. Autoimmune issues go away, and it's wind in sails all the time. And you attribute all of this to semen retention. Isn't it? Is that the one thing that changed in your life when all those things just improved? Or was it just that you changed a whole bunch of things? I'm just like, yeah, no, I mean, you're saying it. I'm not quite buying it. Asan, how much cardio do you do a week? Also, do you do cardio when fast? So I do 0 cardio in a week, and no, I don't do cardio when I fast. I don't really do cardio, guys. Like, I train at a really high intensity, so I get cardio indirectly from my strength training. It's just with my approach, even so on lots of upper body exercises, when I take them beyond failure and stuff, it will get my heart pumping. I walk quite a bit, but I don't count it as walking. Or I count it as walking, but I don't count it as cardio. I mean, so yeah, and when I actually do some cardio run or something, I do have quite good cardio. So it's not that I think cardio is bad, but it's like many things that we do overlap. So even weight training, when you, like me, often do slightly higher reps at a high intensity and you do it every day and you walk quite a bit, a lot of cardio is going to happen in that, while I still don't view any of it as me doing cardio, if you see what I mean. So if I do any cardio when I fast, it's just walking, really. Yeah, and the debate about the semen retention goes on. RVN, I'm doing intuitive eating and making sure I get enough protein through the day. By intuitive eating, I just make sure I don't get hungry too much. Do you think I'm fine doing this for gains? I mean, if I think you're fine, you'll find out if you watch your lifts in the gym. Are they going up? Great, you know. And at a certain point, of course, watch your body weight, like either on a scale or just watch in the mirror, you know. But of course, I eat intuitively, like really most of the time, but especially when going for gains. And what you always have to do is observe that a trend of progress that you want to see is happening. If it isn't, well, maybe you have to watch your food a bit more closely. But yeah, I think it's fine. Yokubas Akramas, how old are you? Just to compare with my age to see whether it's possible for me to achieve what you've done. Well, I am 31. I'll be 32 in December. I started training when I was 25, but okay, you know, of course it's interesting to know how old someone is and how long something took for them or something, but I'll tell you, it's never too late to become better. It's never too late to start walking in the right direction. So it's just the way you phrased it, to see what you have done is possible for me. Well, what is possible for you is becoming a lot better than you are right now at whatever you want to, okay? So, you know, if I can set an example and show things that are possible is great, but I didn't look to anyone to do that. I just started working on myself and like, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna work hard on myself and find out what is possible. And I found out that a lot was possible. A lot that I wouldn't have thought if I had listened to what I've been told. If we're talking about the training stuff, we talked a bit about that on the last stream too. Things my mom had told me made me think that I, you know, getting in that super shape at 25, if I'm not in good shape then, yeah, it's way too late. You need to start way sooner. And it was wrong. So nothing wrong in wanting to look at my age and how long things took for me and that, but I'm just telling you, you can accomplish a lot. And I'm saying this having no idea of your age and where you're at right now. You can always start improving, and when you do and just decide that that's all you care about, becoming the best you can be, you'll be shocked at what you can accomplish. Why would there be studies about something when there's zero money to be made? Yeah. You guys debate that if you want. I'll let it go for now. And tabletop minis. It's a continuation about the fast and drinking coffee with milk. I could have stopped the milk if I really wanted to, but decided the milk with coffee is probably not going to be that bad. A trade-off I was willing to make. Yeah, you see what I mean? For your purposes with the fast, it didn't really ruin anything. What did you say there? I was just wondering. I've done semen retention. It just made me horny and aggressive to the point I wanted to talk to every single woman I saw. I realized that wasn't a good thing. When I'm eyeballing old ladies at Goodwill, it's not a good thing. Yeah. Let's see, Sour Eye, I think. New sub dropping in to say hello. Well, hello there. Good to see ya. Welcome. Like the stream if you haven't already, guys. And I'm happy about the super chat. Always happy to get more. Just reminding you about that option. Alco, YouTube is biased against men's self-improvement channels and will shadow ban you eventually. A lot of dissident content channels have branched out to other platforms like Rumble and BitChute. Yeah, you know, those are things I could do to grow. Just make sure to be in more platforms and stuff. But those are things that would be so good when I can actually like hire someone to help me out with. You know, that's one thing I would love to hear, to just be able to focus on the production of the content, and like, because for me that's quite simple, of course. It's mostly just talking to a camera, a little bit of editing sometimes, but doing that, and someone else just doing all this uploading everywhere, making little shorts to Instagram and TikTok and stuff. I had someone do that for me for a little bit, and it just helps a lot when you're like a one-man show, you know. Paul, on the subject of pornography, not all are the same. For example, look at some of the films from the USA in the 1980s. Full storyline, original music, soundtrack, full cast, character arc, deep themes. Compare that to some bam, 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 gag, gag, bang, etc. humiliation. You get that point. Is it a love story or a horror freak show? Well, I agree, but it's a spectrum. But I would still say, you know, the only pornography that I wouldn't even use that word, that I think is okay, is when couples that are involved, you know, send each other nudes, and if they make something together, because really it's just an extension that's possible with technology of something that they already do together. So I think that, but really no one should be watching any sexual activity with anyone else on the screen, whether it's a nice original soundtrack and storyline or not, you know. Chesner, I hit the gym, do my warm-up for the muscle group I'm working, then if I'm not sweating hard by the end of the second set, I'm not going hard enough. If you're going to true failure and beyond, you will be getting your cardio. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It of course depends what your priorities are. If someone is strength training, but it's not their main priority, and even they do it at a high intensity, but they just do it twice per week, yeah, maybe you want to add some cardio to that. But if strength and hypertrophy training is your thing and you do it every day at a high intensity, probably not that much extra cardio needed. Other than if you want really high cardiovascular performance, of course. Like this transition. On another topic than semen retention, have you ever considered calisthenics? Why would I consider it? Like, I do calisthenics. It's just that this is again a thing. The people will ask me that sometimes. Do you prefer weights or calisthenics? And it's like, why do I have to pick? Can't I do both? Because I like both. And so pull-ups was what I started with, pull-ups and push-ups. I do weighted chin-ups. It's been a staple exercise for me. And different, like just tougher variations at body weight, like really wide grip pull-ups and stuff. I've done weighted dips a lot, different variations of dips, different weighted push-ups, ring push-ups, weighted push-ups are one of my favorite exercises. So I don't have to consider it. I think it's awesome. I don't understand why someone would completely exclude calisthenics from their program or just be, I'm a calisthenics guy. I feel like, you know, some calisthenics guys are probably just interested in the skills too. But sometimes I just feel like it's an excuse to get to bodybuild a nice physique and not have to care about legs as much, you know, because you can't build that big legs without the weights, but you can build a pretty big upper body with just body weight exercises. So I love calisthenics, weighted chin-ups, ring push-ups, dips, awesome stuff. Nicola Ferri, as man, you need to understand and control your aggressive and competitive behavior. It's part of your nature. I notice after workout at gym or Muay Thai, I feel need to fuck. Yeah, I think it's natural feel. Yeah, I think so too. You know, we have this flesh that has certain urges and stuff. And when you are a human being, not a human animal, you can transcend your urges, like not completely, like you'll have to eat at a point or you'll die and stuff. But you should be able to transcend them so that when you follow your instincts, it's always a choice and not just, you know, impulse. And Alco says, as a man, I try to channel my aggression into building things like good habits, knowledge, expansion with my skill set at work, exercise. Yeah, that sounds good. Jamie, I think. Opinions on bread as a regular carb source. Probably not the best. like it would depend on the bread. Some sourdough bread could be all right. But for me, bread is one of those things that I don't say completely no to it, but it's not a regular part of my diet. I never have it at home. I would just eat it at a dinner or at a restaurant or something. But it seems like when you're not a kid and your gut is just completely, untouched, you can handle most things really well. Then after a while, it just seems like bread is one of those foods that can really just screw with your gut, and I wouldn't have it as a regular part of my diet, no. Because that was what you asked, regular carb source. And he goes on to say, I'm a lazy cook, but I guess I'll have to give those a try. Yeah, because I'm kind of addicted to white bread. Yeah, it is addictive, man. I used to eat a lot of bread once upon a time. No, not these days, but Tresnor advised sweet potatoes and rice. Yeah, the oatmeal, no oatmeal. I'm not a fan of the oatmeal either. I think it's kind of the same as the bread. Paul, I'm biased. I have done 9 adult films. Okay, rant over on this subject. So that's why you had this painting this nice picture of the old school porn. Gotcha. Jason Gold. So I wanted to ask if the only way to lose body fat is through losing weight in general. Internet seems to think that's the case. Can you confirm? What do you mean? The only way to lose body fat is through losing weight in general. I mean, are you... I'm just trying to think what the alternative would be. You want to lose fat and not lose weight. What do you think the fat is? You think it doesn't have any weight? Because you're probably not going to be able to gain. You can burn fat and build muscle at the same time, especially if you have a lot of extra fat, but you're never going to be gaining muscle at the rate of which you can lose body fat. So I'm just really curious, what do you think the alternative is? Losing fat without losing body weight? Because the answer seems obvious that obviously your body weight should be going down. Nicola Ferry, learn how to cook good meal. It's good and amazing. Try to combine the right ingredients. Well, some people like to cook. I will never like to cook. So actually, when people think I'm disciplined with my nutrition, the most discipline I do is that I always make sure to go and have the right foods at home, and I can even cook, and I do that. But I do the opposite thing instead. I keep it extremely simple. Like, my lunch today is literally minced meat. Like, I make beef patties that I salt. I fry them in olive oil, and I cooked rice with salt. I drink a glass of orange juice with pulp and chew on a carrot. And I eat the rice and the beef, and that's it. Good food is good, but I just have no interest in... I'm too practical, Calisthenics are amazing, bro. Weighted dips is like the squat for the upper body, Kressner. Someone is quoting Mike Mentzer here, I think. I very much prefer... I think the chin-up pull-up is an exercise... It's for different muscles, of course, but I like it more than dips. I feel like standard dips aren't the best form of the dip, other than as a pure strength movement. But I think you have to make it a more... my favorite version of the dip is actually one where I hang the weight belt from my neck, because it pulls me forward more. It makes it heavier, but it makes it more of a chest exercise. Like, I get a huge chest pump that I never get from regular dips by doing them that way. Algirdas Televicius, what's your opinion about eating raw onions? Andrew Tate said it boosts testosterone. I tried it and it definitely does something, but other people run away from me. Well, it's possible that it does something, but it's just whatever eating one food does for you, especially a food that isn't a caloric food, if you see what I mean. It's not much calories in the onions. Can it really be so huge that it's an important thing to do? I don't have a huge opinion on it. Like, it could definitely do something. You know, is it worth it with the people running away from you and that? Nicola Ferri, I heat only break made with natural starter is another product. I heat only bread made with natural starter. I don't quite get that. Ronaldo Witteman, can't have both. Not sure what both. Jamie, since I started eating clean, losing weight and gaining muscle, I'm getting Botox substance accusations. Sometimes I see it as a compliment, but other times it really pisses me off. Guess best to ignore. You know, with a thing like that, I'm the kind of guy that, like trolls in life, whether we're talking in real life or online, I have fun engaging with it most of the time. Like some would think something, oh, he's triggered because he's arguing with this person or he's taking the bait. Only you know in the end if that's true or not. But what I'm saying is, I want to interact with negative feedback I get a lot of the time, because I just want to kind of have fun with the person. Like, this person is being a douche to me, I don't have to feel bad about trolling them back a bit. Or it's the coach teaching me, like even this little idiot right here, I want to teach them something. I want to show them how wrong they are. I will get a little bit of personal satisfaction out of that, but also I want this person, because they're clearly huge idiots. Would really need to listen to what I have to say to them. So I mean, you decide what you do, but of course what you should do is like preserve your energy, or like you know, you can give them, if they dish it out, you can give them something back. The important thing, whatever you could do to not feel like negatively impacted about it. But of course, like on an emotional level, it's just don't care. Like try to the Botox substance accusations. You know, people, they want. This is an expression of them not wanting to face the fact that maybe I could improve myself just like this guy. So I rather come up with all these shortcuts and cheats he must have used, so it makes me feel better about not doing the work I could do as well. You know, people like to, rather than see you and be inspired and wow, that means I've been a lazy piece of shit all this time and I could have improved. Wow, that's great news. I go working on myself as well. It's more, no, he did something wrong. Look, the way he's changed his face, it must be Botox. Oh, and I won't do that, of course. See what I'm saying? Nicola Ferri, smile, be educated, and go for your way. Sounds like good advice. And Teresa said, yes, great advice. Definitely always have good food around. That way you don't get fast food. Yeah. Eat your onions and garlic before bed. The way you're not carrying that all day. Lol. Yeah. Learn how cook make you interesting with woman. You love it. I love your English, Nicola. I mean, you're communicating well, which is the important part. But you know, you say woman. You know that it's women with an E when it's plural. It's with woman. Learn how cook make you interest with woman. They love it. I love it, Nicola. Well, we've run out of stuff in the chat for now, and I think we've gone for like 1:23. I should get back to the people that have been annoying me a bit during the stream. Just stick around for a minute, see if someone wants to say, yeah, we get, learn how to cook, it will press women. According to a study in nutrition and diabetes, cooling rice for 24 hours decreases blood sugar spike. Yeah. There you go. The thing about those things, you know, I think it's mainly a person that's already diabetic or pre-diabetic that has to think about that. Because, you know, since I have started doing the fasting and eating clean food and done this for so many years, I just feel like I'm not at risk of anything in that direction at all, you know. So I think that kind of advice, it's more for someone that's already struggling with their blood sugar. And that, while someone like myself, it probably won't make a big difference if I cool my rice or not. It's like fine already. Haha, I'm Italian, by the way, Nicola says. Yeah. Well, I wanted to say something in Italian and immediately the little thing. the little area with Italian dynamic. But ciao. Ciao. Bello. Is that how you say it? Jamie, how deep you go when doing preacher curls? I feel when I go all the way down, I fail because of forearm just at the beginning of the lift. Well, I will go all the way. All the way that you fail because of the forearm. Well, you know, many things you can do, bro. Like, but maybe you just fail because it's the hardest portion of the lift. Because it is, you know. When it's stretched and up to the kind of parallel angle, that's the hardest portion of the lift. So, yeah. I mean, but you can try many different things. You can try doing it with a dumbbell, one side at a time. Do you feel differently? Or, Alco, don't you have a monthly Patreon or other way to support the channel? Well, you can send a super chat. I have a Patreon that maybe I even link here, but I haven't, it's not been like active in a long time. Maybe I should be doing that more. But yeah, there is the Patreon. If I see some guys show up there, maybe I'll start pushing it more. But you can always become a member of the channel too. I've had a member here and there. Of course, it's better with a Patreon and stuff because they take less for themselves. Jokubas Akramas, man, your answer about the age just gave me so much confidence boost. Well, I'm happy to hear that, bro. Is it possible to join your community or coaching? Well, if anyone has some suggestion for me to set up some more, like we have, of course, a community around the channel, the comments, and in the chat we'll always have. But community is definitely something, like if we can create something more direct like that. So if anyone has any ideas for me, please reach out to me and tell me about it. But coaching, of course, you can just email me or DM me on Instagram. The information is here in the description. And I'll tell you about my different options. I'm very glad that I gave you a confidence boost. That seems to be a strength I have, because that's what some people that have become my coaching clients have said too, that you made me think it was possible for me. And I'm really happy about that. Because, you know, all the things in this life, that's what I've learned myself. We have to, when we don't believe something, our experience really of life has to change that for us. We don't know that things can be different until we experience it for ourselves. But we can get ideas and we can have faith and have belief. And that's what you, as a coach, a teacher, or a content creator, that's what you want to do. Before a person can know from what they have done, you want to make them feel positive enough about it that they actually go in that direction. Maybe Discord community, Tresnor says, yeah, maybe. I had a Discord once upon a time, but there was, you know, that's the problem with having a small channel, that you feel like you do these efforts for things and like, oh, but it's dead anyway, so I'll just leave it too. But now we're starting to get enough people around Uncommon Sense for things to actually become a bit more alive. So maybe revive that. Yeah, you see something happen here. Okay. Well, guys, we've gone for like 1.5 hours. I think that's good for today. But I appreciate you all. Appreciate talking to you in the chat always. We'll see if I start doing some more spontaneous streams. I have much better options for that usually in the summer. Yeah, the Sunday stream at 5 will be a thing. And videos in the week, of course. You see here, Facebook groups are generally the way I've seen online coaches do mentorship groups. There is a paywall, some are hundreds, other thousands of dollars to enter. Yeah, I mean, Facebook group is actually a decent forum. I'll think about that, whether for coaching clients or just some wider community. Tresnor, appreciate you. I appreciate you too, brother. Bye, dope stream, brother. Well, thanks, guys. You guys make the streams, really. I'm just the vessel for what you say here in the chat. So, take care, Ronald Whitman says. You take care too, Ronald. I'll see you in videos in the week, guys, and on the stream next Sunday. Peace.